Mission Report 1, December 2009, Tobey May comes on Tonight Show and says that the shooting of Spider-Man 4 will start from February-March next year. But in the middle, Sony delays it, and in January, Sony declares that they will not shoot. Sam Raimi Spider-Man is rebooting, and now we will get to see a brand new Spider-Man and his story, and see some fun special effects as well, including a new reboot with Gizmo, a brand new special effect of Sam Raimi. This is how Andrew Gilfreid's Spider-Man was introduced, but still people are curious as to whether Tobey's original series will cover the same thing or not. Man 3 did not perform as well as its previous movies. This disappointed Spidey fans, and Sam Raimi also got upset, and he came to the conclusion that the mistakes made in Spider-Man 3 made him lose his mojo for Spider-Man 4 work on Spider-Man 4. With the decision to take the franchise to the streaming service for the first time in more than 3 years, work on Spider-Man 4 was to begin, but before that there were some things that Sam Raimi faced in the making of Spider-Man 3, like Sam Raimi wanted to show Vulture and Sandman as villains in Spider-Man 3, but the producer at that time, Avi Arad, refused to show Vulture. He said that Vulture does not seem to be the villain of Spider-Man from any angle, and it is also not a character that people already know. Along with this, the same producer also accused Sam Raimi that Sam Raimi wanted to show his favorite characters. The producers wanted to introduce a villain who was already popular among the fans, and so Venom was suggested, and at that time Venom was very popular in comics and animation, and Sam Raimi did not want to create the villain. Wanting to agree with the producers, he replaced Vulture with Venom. Unfortunately, things didn't stop there. Sam Raimi was requested to cast another girl who was madly in love with Peter, hence Gwen Stacy, also got added to this story. Now, as a result of this, many characters came, and because of them, many subplots were made. That is why when this movie was ready, after watching it, it seemed as if two movies were running simultaneously. The first show, Sam Raimi wanted to make the second one that the studios had forcefully made the Spider-Man story that was going on with Sandman. Sam Raimi wanted to make that, and the Gwen Stacy Venom angle with Spider-Man, the studios wanted to make that. And then after this, when the movie was ready, Sam Raimi felt very bad after seeing it. After some time, he also said in an interview that he did not want to make this movie, and told that he could not connect some characters in the movie, and he made such a movie. He tried to work in a film in which he did not fully believe, and that is why this reflection of the director was seen on the actor as well. Along with this, Sam Raimi also felt guilty that he agreed to make a movie in which he did not believe. But letting go of the guilt was also giving myself permission to not judge anything ever again. This movie is about the power of storytelling, and Raimi also felt guilty that he agreed to make a movie in which he did not believe. He also broke the hearts of the fans, and after this, Sam Raimi wanted to make Spider-Man 4, where he was not going to introduce many villains like Spider-Man 3. That's why Sam Raimi reached the villain that he wanted to show in Spider-Man 3. Yes, Vulture, and this one by Sam Raimi. This is Vulture. It would have been quite different from the Vulture of Homecoming. It would have been a private contractor of the US government, where the government would get those horrible lines, "Every spider has the right to repel and repel every villain and take immortal rep." And we'll talk about that in the video game just a little bit later, and cover some early deadlines and a future tourney featuring Star Trek Stealth. Tasks done from it which it cannot do itself. That is why it was named Vulture, because a speciality of Vulture is that when it hunts its prey, he eats it and leaves nothing except the bones. His specialty is to erase all the evidence. And now you must be able to understand why the Vulture we saw in Homecoming was an expert in hiding evidence, and how he spent 8 years under a shield. Did all illegal work, all tracked them all back, removed them and fed them to you, tracked them all back, removed them and fed them to you, tracked them all back, all tracked them all back, turned them all back all around. Currently, Sam Raimi wanted to cast John Malkovich for the role of Vulture, who was earlier offered the role of Green Goblin by Sam Raimi. He had turned down the role at that time, but now he is ready to play the role of Vulture. They were ready, but the caustic team began to wonder how to show an old man flying in a green suit. Then Sam Raimi took this idea and made Vulture a scary and brutal villain who had never been seen in a film before. Spider-Man did not face it. Now everything is ready, and the film begins in Spider-Man 3. A lot of things happened, due to which there were a lot of problems in the relationship of these two. On the other hand, a new employee named Felicia Hardy came to Daily Bugle MJ, and Peter go their separate ways. MJ goes her separate ways. After the breakup, Peter Parker feels free within himself, so he goes back to his Spidey self. He returns to work and takes on a number of villains, including Mysterio, Shocker, the Prowler, Stiltman, and Rhino, all of whom we have seen actor Bruce in various roles in previous Spider-Man films, and Sam Raimi had different plans for them. When Spider-Man caught many villains in the beginning, Mysterio was also among them, and Bruce was given the role of this Mysterio, and when Mysterio is caught here, it becomes a joke. And at the same time, a new boss has come in, Daily Bugle, who is Tums A.A. Vulture right there one. Another twist is that the Felicia Hardy whom Peter was dating was the adopted daughter of Vulture. Both of them did not know that their boss had changed. After this, Vulture makes a plan to arrest all the underground workers in New York. Criminals need to be controlled, and when Vulture is on this mission, one day he encounters Spider-Man. A fierce, bloody fight takes place between the two in the sky of New York, and Vulture throws Spider-Man on the window. From where Felicia was watching both of them fighting, by now Spider-Man's condition is almost dead, and Vulture takes off Spider-Man's mask. And Vulture comes to know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And after this, Vulture kills Peter Parker. Peter proceeds to kill Vulture in an attempt to save himself. But Peter kills Vulture in an attempt to save himself. In other words, Spider-Man takes Vulture in an attempt to save himself. This scene terrifies Peter and leads to Peter becoming the Elysium woman and the next Vulture so that he can take revenge on Spider-Man for his father. Taken in the finale of the movie, she almost defeats Spider-Man, but she doesn't kill Peter. Instead, she lets him go. And the concept art you are seeing was made for Spider-Man 4, and the people who made it was said that if this movie had been made, it would have been a great movie, while Sam Raimi had kept the ending of this movie on a high note. That is why Sam Raimi hired 4 screenwriters for its story, yet Sam Raimi could not get the approval of any of them. The story was also not liked that much. Apart from this, Tobey and Christine were coming back for Spider-Man 4, and hence their fees were also increased. Producer Amy Pascal had plans for 2 more Spider-Man movies, which she would direct shoot in 6-month breaks. The producer was worried that the character might get old and the new hype around Spider-Man might fade away. That's why he gave $50 billion to Tobey Guy, and also fixed a percentage of some seats at the box office. On the other hand, Sam Raimi was against this idea. He just wanted to make an adventurous movie of Spider-Man and wanted to give his best in this one movie. Sam Raimi also said that after making a movie, there are many options for the second movie, like the first Dr. Corners was shown. Because that story of his is still left with the Lizard, he can use it further. While at this time, Stanley also agreed that the Lizard is a good villain for Tobey May's Spider-Man, which was its first and second part. Dr. Corners was already set, while Stanley also said that the Lizard is his favorite villain of Spider-Man, that's why Sony took it, and the actor who was playing the role of Dr. Connors also expressed his desire to play it again. And at this point, negative news started coming out about Sam Raimi's villain Vulture. People didn't like the fact that Spider-Man 4 movie was going to be released, and people were going crazy for a 3D movie, so the studios chose Sam Raimi for the role. So while the release of these movies was mostly the same as other film releases overall, Sam Raimi was the one that actually chose Sam Raimi for the role. Pressure was put on him to make it in 3D. Shoot, but here Sam Raimi's team had never worked on 3D before. It was something totally new for them. Sony even arranged a meeting between James Cameron and Sam Raimi, and the extraordinary performances from the crew included Sonny Salasya and Robert Reagan. But here Sam Raimi has a little bit of ownership over the project. Pressure was put on Raimi to make it in 3D, so Sam Raimi. And the issue here was not that Sam Raimi would make a 3D movie. They were not only against 3D, but later they also made a great 3D movie. The only issue was that they were unaware of the format in which they were shooting. And to understand this 3D, the shooting date of the movie was also going to be affected because the studio date was postponed. First up, Sony was not looking to expand. It just wanted to learn the technology quickly and put it to work. And this whole art of the studios of forcing new things on Sam Raimi and twisting things to suit their own needs, all these things made Sam Raimi very successful. This forced Raimi to fight with the studio, and the same thing was being planned before to reboot the Spider-Man universe. And then a day came where Sonny declared that the Spider-Man came in front of us, and Andrew took only $50,000 to play the role, while Tobey Maguire was hired to play Spider-Man. $50 million were to be paid for Spider-Man 4 and Spider-Man 5. After this, we got to see 2 movies of Andrew, Spider-Man, and they did not make as much impact as Tobey had shown us earlier. Since October 2022, this cast of characters was only introduced around the Spider-Man films that came after the 1986 release, and they did not make as much impact as Tobey had shown us earlier. Sony is planning to reboot this new Spider-Man franchise, was taking a decision, but before that, he talked to Marvel, and then both of them reached the same conclusion. And in this way, we got Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And even today, Sony's problems have not reduced, because Sony is making a Spider-Verse on Spider-Man's villain, was wanting to make it, and he has dropped that too. And after all this, it seems like Sony will give most of the rights back to Marvel, or something like this will happen, that Marvel Studio itself will make the story of this Sun 4 end. You liked it? So do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because Marvel updates, news, and leaks are constantly covered on this channel. If you do not want to miss it, please subscribe. And yes, you can also watch the rest of the episodes. You will find the link in the description below. See you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself and have fun. Love you, and bye.